Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Steve. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I'm just an American guy on a journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Today, we're going to be reacting to Bath, England. I've heard of Bath before, but I don't know really anything about it. I do believe it's one of the oldest cities in England, but beyond that, I don't really have a clue what to expect. This was recommended in the comment section, and I've been wanting to check out other towns and cities in the UK and Ireland, and this looks like an interesting one to look into next. So let's go ahead and check it out.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Ultimate Bucket List. And this is your complete guide to the city of Bath. Where to eat, what to do, how to hang out in the rooftop pool, and how to have the best time of your life in one of the most historic cities on Earth. England is full of ancient Roman cities. Londinium, Mamucium, Eboracum. But there's one place that's significantly unique to the others. That place is Aquisulis, otherwise known as the modern-day city of Bath.
Oh, is the language he's speaking there, is that Roman? Okay, that makes sense. Aquisulis.
One of the most historic cities here in England is because of the naturally heated thermal spring that happens to be slap bang in the middle of the city. And when you step foot into the city of Bath,
that's beautiful.
The history and culture oozes immediately from its walls. It's located right on the River Avon. On a nice day like today, it's nice to just walk around and enjoy the lovely scenery along the river.
That's a very nice scenery.
It's an idyllic location in the heart of rural Somerset. And even though this looks like a tiny village in the middle of the sticks, this is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you've got a bit of spare time, walk along the river and the canals and just take in the breathtaking scenery. The first place I recommend that you stop off at is the City of Bath World Heritage Centre. You can learn about the city and its UNESCO World Heritage status, and there are plenty of members of staff who are willing to help you out by handing you maps and advising you to where to go. Let's start by visiting the most famous attraction here in the city of Bath, and the entire reason why this city is here.
Must be why it's named.
This is the Roman Baths, and the building itself looks quite colossal. Once you buy your ticket, you're given an audio guide, which is very helpful in learning about the history of this place. So, why is this place important? The reason why is because thousands of years ago, the Romans had found that this place has naturally thermally heated water from underground. So to capitalize on that, they decided to build an entire city around it. Most of the Roman structure is still intact, and when you walk out onto the terrace, you can see this lovely view. It's amazing to think that the Romans, thousands of years ago, built this structure around this thermally heated water. Listen to the audio guide as it provides you some very interesting commentary. But if you're not interested in learning about the history, you can at least see the funky statues that are dotted all the way around. It makes for some good photo and video opportunities. The best ones are on this corner here overlooking the Abbey.
Does anybody know? Oh, he's going. I think they're going. When did they build that?
If you're not sure how it works,
built
this
in
is
12th
basically
century
a diagram
AD.
indicating what's actually happening here. And when you look outside to the sacred pool, which no one's allowed to go in, you can actually see the bubbles rising from the spring of the naturally 46 degrees Celsius heated water, which is pretty amazing.
That's an amazing looking structure.
That this is the only place in the country that has it, so yeah, fairly unique by English standards. If you're a bit of a history buff, they've got plenty of exhibits and artifacts for you to have a look at whilst you're walking around the baths. And this is how it would have looked back in the day. One of the interesting things is the original temple pediment. Now this Zeus-like head, nobody actually knows what this is, but because it's so striking, it has now become the symbol of the city of Bath. It would have looked amazing back in the day. Whilst you're here actually, make sure you take the time to have a look at some of these Roman exhibits, because some of these are pretty interesting and, oh, hello there.
That is
some
interesting.
of these are very, very interesting. From coins and mosaics and dead people, it's all very, very interesting. Admittedly, if you're not a history buff and you can't be bothered reading, that's what the audio guide is for. It's amazing to know that all of this was built before the age of modern machinery. You'll also find people in Roman costumes who are willing to help you out on the day. There seems to be a lot of projections of half-naked women around here. I'm certainly not complaining, but I think it's for some kind of historical reenactment. Easily the best spot to take photos and videos is of the lower level overlooking the baths and Bath Abbey in the background.
So the best place to take photos and videos is right here on the southeast corner overlooking Bath Abbey. So if you want the best photos and videos, take them to the spot.
And I know what you're going to be asking me. Can I touch the water? Can I drink the water? Can I
wouldn't
bathe
drink
in
the
the
water.
water? Unfortunately, no. It's actually very much untreated. You're pretty much going to get poisoned if you touch or drink the stuff. So please, no drinking this water. Not that you would anyway, because it's kind of a rancid shade of green. But yeah, don't touch the water, guys. If you're desperate to...
So I wonder, does anybody know how old, like when the Romans started building in Bath? Was it the 12th century AD? That seems a little later than I was expecting for some reason. I felt like the Romans were they had kind of been pushed out of England by that point. I could be mistaken on that, but yeah, it's just something I'm interested in knowing.
To try some of the water, at the end of the tour, there's a fountain that you can actually drink the natural mineral water that happens to come from underground.
So what's the
What does this
difference?
water taste like? Oh my god, that's disgusting! It literally tastes like rust. So yeah, if you don't like tasting rust, don't drink the water here.
So what's the difference between the water in the bath and the water in the fountain? If they're both coming, is just one treated, I guess?
At the end of the tour is the Roman Bath shop, which will sell you lots of Roman style paraphernalia and stuff. So that's good. Right next door is the other most famous attraction here in Bath. This is Bath Abbey. It's basically a big giant cathedral. Even if you don't like churches, it's a nice place to hang around, especially when...
Okay. I keep on hearing blank abbey. There's many blank abbeys. Does abbey mean church or something? I'm curious what that means.
when you've got musicians and performers performing in this square here.
Wow, it's so beautiful.
But if you don't mind going in, technically it is free of charge to enter. They suggest a £5 donation at the door, but you honestly don't have to pay that if you don't want to.
Wow.
It's actually quite nice.
Look at that.
It's definitely a lot lighter than quite a lot of the cathedrals that I tend to visit.
Wow.
The layout is pretty much the same. You've got this
beautiful.
bit here, the nave, where all of us commoners sit, and you've got the choir where all the monks and the priests sit. There's various offshoots of various other chapels that you can have a private prayer in if you want to, but overall it's actually quite a nice abbey to visit. The reason why Bath Abbey is so important is because it's the first church in the country that coronated a king.
Oh.
So yes, in the year 973, the first ever King of England was crowned. It is one of the nicer cathedrals that you'll visit in this country. Right, after a morning of sightseeing, it's time to eat stuff. The building...
I mean, look at that, guys. Like, look at this. I mean, how old was this church? I mean, is this original glasswork? Obviously the stonework is, the carvings are. It's like, it's amazing that this was done over 1,000 years ago with no modern technology. I still can't get over when I see some of these old buildings like this. It boggles the mind because I can't imagine being able to go out here with no modern technology and just, create something like this. It just takes such talent. It's just amazing. It really is. It's just absolutely amazing.
Stuff. The building right next door is the Roman pump house. Originally, it used to be the pump house for the baths, but nowadays it's this grand ballroom that you can have your dinner in. You'll need a reservation to eat in this place, but it's actually quite nice.
Looks
You've
nice.
got a live piano player playing on a Steinway, and it's a nice way to enjoy fine British dining. Along Bath High Street, you'll find lots of modern eateries, so you're definitely spoiled for choice here in the city of Bath. The main high street runs from north to south, and you won't struggle to find anything here.
Wow.
But whilst you're walking around, you'll notice the old architecture, some really old buildings, all made with this yellowish stone. This is famous Bath limestone, and you'll find that most of the city is constructed with this stuff.
Wow.
And when you do walk around the city, you'll notice the historic baths, the Victorian architecture, mixed with the modern architecture, but overall, it's a very historic place. And if you like all of this old stuff, with the cobble streets, with the Greek-style architecture, this place is pretty much perfect for you.
How? I can't imagine how something like this was built, so long ago. It boggles the mind. How is that possible? How can people with basically, chisels, create something like this? It's amazing. It really is.
This wouldn't look out of place in France, in Italy. It's one of the more picturesque cities here in England.
Yeah, it looks so walkable.
There's plenty of roadside eateries and cafes for you to waste away the afternoon with. But whilst you're here in the city of Bath, you might want to try the unique food item that you won't find anywhere else in the world. This unique food item is called the Bath Bun. Only 2 places in the entire city actually do them. The first is historic Sally Lunn's, located in the oldest house in the city
circa
of Bath.
1482.
Sally Lunn's is the original purveyor of the Bath Bun, which is basically a very sweet version of a French brioche bun, except that it's a lot lighter, it's got a lot less butter, and it's significantly bigger. You could try one of these right here at Sally Lunn's. You might need to book in advance, especially if you're going there for dinner. But as with all establishments, there's a rival literally around the corner. Right here is the Bath Bun Tea House. It's a traditional style tea house that serves their own version of the Bath Bun.
Wow.
So their version is basically a smaller version of a Sally Lunn, but they put crystallized sugar and fruit on top. If you do eat inside the Bath Bun, you'll come across one of the most quaint tea houses, very traditional, very 1900s, and yes, because you're in a traditional tea house, you have to drink the tea the correct way with your pinky up. Okay, you don't actually have to do that, but, when in Rome, I guess. So what does a Bath Bun taste like? Well, wait, what's this? They actually bake a lump of sugar into the bread. Huh, that's fairly unique.
Weird.
If I had to pick between the two, I would pick the Bath Bun over the Sally Lunn, but I know a lot of people would say the complete opposite, so it's definitely worth a try at both establishments. So once you've had your fill of really sweet bread, it's now time to walk towards the northern part of the city, where you'll find Queen Square with a somewhat replica Washington State Monument.
It is.
You'll need to walk along Gay Street. I'm not kidding, it's actually called that. Where you'll find 2 significant structures. The Circus, which is basically a circle of very colonial buildings, all decked out in this Bath limestone.
Wow.
And whilst it's very nice to look at and take photos of, I definitely felt a little bit...
Yeah, look at that. Look at that right there. I can't imagine how they were able to lift these columns into place. I believe they're columns. I don't think they're carved out, are they? But I've seen many other buildings with columns, this size that were lifted up somehow. It's just amazing how that's possible. That is just amazing to me. Just amazing.
And take photos of, I definitely felt a little bit out of place here. Not just because of the shirt I'm wearing, but because I feel that this place is just inhabited with rich people. That's even more the case here at the Royal Crescent, which is kind of like
I love
a
the architecture
of very similar buildings. And once again, it's very nice to look at, and there's some people with some very fancy cars here, but other than taking a few photos and videos, there's not really that much here. I mean, you could go into the Royal Crescent Museum, but to me it felt like just rich people stuff. Besides, there's plenty of other museums here in the north section of Bath. In fact, it's famous for it. Around here, you'll find the biggest collection of museums in this city. The most famous of which, the Assembly Rooms, which is a very grand building, Unfortunately, they've closed due to filming because there's lots of people wearing these period costumes and lots of TV fans outside. There's the Museum of Bath Artwork. I didn't bother doing that one. The Museum of Bath Architecture, which unfortunately was closed. I definitely would have done that one. I'm glad the Museum of East Asian Art is at least nearby. That's one I'm definitely looking forward to. And are you kidding me? That's closed as well? If you're a big fan of Jane Austen, the Jane Austen Centre is nearby, and later on we'll show you where she used to live. But having been disappointed at the lack of museums that are open, I decided to check out this lovely looking church here. Wait a minute. Hang on. Have they converted it to a coffee shop? Seriously?
Really?
They've converted a church into a coffee shop? Oh my goodness. Yes, this church is actually a big giant coffee shop.
That's so interesting. I've never seen that before. They turned a church into a coffee shop. That's pretty cool, actually. Like people that want to go and, worship, they can go in and have coffee at the same time. That's interesting. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Shop now, where you can pray and order a latte at the same time.
That's really interesting.
I'll have one cappuccino and one baptismal, please. Certainly, sir. That'll be £9.60.
Wow.
It's a really quirky place, and even if you go in just to take a few photos and videos, it's actually quite a memorable piece of your trip. Speaking of memorable, let me point you out to the most famous bridge here in the city, the Pulteney Bridge. Now, when you're on the bridge, it looks like any ordinary street, but it's only when you go down the Grand Parade that you'll notice, hang on a minute, that was a bridge.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this is one of the few inhabited bridges here in the country, and it's very similar to the Rialto Bridge in Venice.
Wow. What is, are those apartments, or is that some sort of, commercial space? That's so interesting. I've never seen a bridge like that. And it looks like there's some sort of room down here too. Wow.
And it's a good backdrop for if you want to take a boat ride down the River Avon. It's a very picturesque location.
Wow, I like that.
The background and the Pulteney Weir right here. Hey look, there's an artist capturing it. Has he done a good job? Yes, I think he has. That's pretty accurate.
That's so cool.
Fancy canoeing towards the weir? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I definitely like that.
Down the Pulteney Bridge, you'll come across Great Pulteney Street. It's a very French-style looking boulevard. The architecture is great, but admittedly, not much to do.
Looks like a bunch of apartments.
Some very expensive restaurants on this street, so if money's no object, eat here. But right at the end is the Holborn Museum, a museum dedicated to the history of Bath, that when I got there, surprise surprise, it had closed for the day. Yay! But the buildings and the grounds are nice. Hey lady, it's closed already. Whilst you're on Great Pulteney Street, you'll come across this unassuming green space. This is the famous Bath Recreation Ground. It's home to Bath Croquet Club, Bath Cricket Ground, and this stadium right here, which you wouldn't think that it's anything special, but this tiny stadium is one of the most iconic in the country. This is the Recreation Ground Stadium, and it's home to Bath Rugby, one of the oldest clubs in World Rugby, and one of the most successful here in England.
I don't know anything about rugby. I'm definitely going to look into it. I believe it's I get the impression it's sort of like American football a little bit. Not the same, but something kind of similar. I could be wrong on that, but definitely got to check that out soon.
It's amazing to think that one of the world's most famous rugby teams plays out of very basic facilities such as this. In fact, I think all the stands are temporary. Currently, it's the end of the rugby season, but one day I'll come back and actually watch a game here at the Recreation Ground Stadium. But the absolute best thing to do here in the city of Bath, I've saved this for last. Let's go back into the centre of town, and around the corner from the Roman baths is this place, the Thermae Bath Spa. Now you can't bathe in the Roman baths, but this relatively modern facility, you can. You can experience what it's like to bathe in thermally heated waters directly from underground. And this facility, not only does it have an underground pool, it also has a rooftop.
Oh, it's nice.
So you can bathe in thermally heated water overlooking this picturesque city of Bath. Not only does it have 2 pools, it has a selection of saunas and steam rooms.
Oh wow,
So
that looks
if you
so
are
nice.
stressed, come here and I guarantee you won't be afterwards. Please note that they employ a strict no mobile phone
Oh
and
wow,
no camera
that looks
policy.
so nice.
So if you do want to take photos and videos, they won't let you. It's a little bit on the pricey side, especially seeing as though you only get 2 hours in this place, but trust me, spend the money. It's worth every single penny.
Yeah, I would definitely check that place
You'll
out.
notice in the city of Bath, there's plenty of massive
Oh,
green
that's so
spaces that
beautiful.
you can just chillax in.
Yeah.
Such as here, the Parade Gardens, which unfortunately you have to pay to enter. But the best place to take in views of the city of Bath is right here in the south side of the city at Alexandra Park. Now unfortunately, it's high on a hill, and you'll need to climb some significant distance in order to reach it.
Wow, look
But
at that.
when you do, the views are simply stunning.
The views from Bath,
Wow.
from up here at Alexandra Park, are pretty stunning. I
Yeah.
mean, look at this. You can actually see the entire city from here.
That's really
But
nice.
boy, do they make you work for it.
There's a couple of things I didn't do, such as visit the University of Bath and the American Museum. I would have loved to have done that, but by the time I finished this video, everything had closed. Overall guys, Bath is a place that you want to visit once in your life, not only to experience the history and the culture, but to bathe in thermal waters, eat tons of sweetbread, all whilst taking in some of the most incredible sights that you'll find here in England. Okay Nin, I'm sold. What do I need to do? Well, you'll need to come here to the city of Bath. It's very well connected. You can get here via the M5 and M4 motorways. If you're using public transport, the main train station is Bath Spa. There's plenty of buses that will take you here, and the nearest international airports are Birmingham International and Cardiff. The cost? Bath is a reasonably priced city. However, the attractions can be quite pricey. Especially the Thermae Spa, that's easily the most expensive thing you'll do here in the city of Bath, but trust me, spend the money, it's definitely worth it. As you can imagine from an international city, Bath isn't short on places to eat and drink, and the prices are fairly reasonable. Hotels in the city can be quite pricey, so if you're on a strict budget, I recommend that you stay outside the city of Bath and use public transportation to get in. Is there anything else I need to know? Yes. Whilst the majority of the city of Bath is flat, everything around it
Oh,
is
wow.
not. It can get quite hilly in
That
places.
does. That looks
and
very
if you're
hilly.
not big on hills, or if you're struggling to walk, going to places such as Alexandra Park can be quite a bad idea. Also, attractions in Bath are more expensive on weekends than they are on weekdays. So if you're in Bath on a weekend, expect to pay a little bit more for things like hotels, attractions and food. And you might need to book the attractions in advance, especially if you're coming on a weekend. I visited Bath on a Wednesday. I didn't struggle to get into anywhere, but I've heard reports that it's sometimes painful to get into the more popular attractions. So guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. Comment on the comment section below, and if you've got any other bucket list ideas, you know what to do, tweet them at me. If I get enough of these suggestions, I'll go ahead and do that. So guys, thank you very much for watching.
Looks like a really cool place to check out. Has a lot of interesting history and really beautiful architecture. And I'm definitely really loving the different old buildings and whatnot. It's amazing that people built these old buildings 1,000 years ago in some cases. I just can't imagine how that was possible before modern technology. It just amazes me. But this looked like a really cool city. It had a bunch of really old buildings, a bunch of great history to check out. And I love the old cobblestone streets and the thoroughways that you can walk through and see and stop for lunch and whatnot. Looked like had a great bit of hiking too. It looks like there's quite a bit of hiking on the outskirts of the city. If you go in some places in the city, this looks like a painting, guys. Look at that. This looks like the perfect place to come for a picnic. Or if I lived in the area, I'd probably go walking every day, just relaxing, just enjoying the scenery. It's beautiful. But But yeah, seems like a pretty cool place. I wish you could still get into the bath though. The actual old Roman baths. I understand, for safety reasons, they don't want people to, but man, that would be really cool if you could. But they did have that really cool spa, wherever that was. And that is definitely something I would check out when I came, wherever that was. But that was beautiful. Like, look at that. What a cool place to come and relax. And yeah, and then you got the hills overlooking the entire city. I mean, definitely seems like a good stop to make on a trip to the UK. So I will definitely visit Bath. It's definitely one of the towns I will come by. I'm realizing to actually really get what I want out of my first visit to the UK. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna need like a month that first visit. There's no way I'm gonna just come for a week vacation. There's no way I'm gonna do that because, I'm not going to be able to explore properly in a week. I mean, even a month is going to be tight. I mean, I'll have to come back multiple times, obviously, but I hope that first time I took for a visit, I hope I can come for an extended stay so that I can really do some real exploring. Because I know that I've just touched the surface, and just this one city of Bath alone, I could see, needing at least a couple of days 2 or 3 days in this city alone just to kind of do proper exploration. I mean, I don't even know how long it will take me to, to really explore, everywhere that I want to explore and do all the things I want to do. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please click this like button and feel free to leave your comments and suggestions. And don't forget to subscribe to join me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Until next time, guys, peace.